Welcome back to the Pleasure Victory Podcast. This is your host, John Duncan, Jimmy Marion, Darian Smith. Folks, uh, this episode is brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. Uh, uh, Cahaba Blonde.
I was about to say, you're going to say Agauba IPA. I was waiting
Yeah.
for it.
Yes. Uh, folks, don't forget you pick up your favorite brewery uh, uh, at cahabrabrewing.com and ever else is sold.
Bro, that was dynamite.
Let's go. Let's
um,
go.
we got a home win for the first time and it feels like forever.
Hey,
Hold on, when was our last home win? Like seriously, I know it was like
Rice,
Rice, but
Rice,
when was that?
I'm going to get that for you.
Super Bowl.
Oh God, that like I know that it has been a long time. Though I was like, I
Mhm.
know who it was, but when was that? Like around, it was like around the Super Bowl time, was it? Seriously?
Oh, yeah. It was on, it might have been Super Bowl. It was the 8th of February. So
Oh,
over 30 days ago.
that's it.
Yeah, was that Super Bowl Sunday? I think it
Yep,
was.
yep.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
The most important game played on February 8th, 2026 was when UAB defeated the Rice Owls 71 to 65.
Oh, uh, so how about that game? He's Carolina 90 to 83.
Yeah, I think it was a way to get the home monkey off our
Yes,
back, you know?
yes,
What y'all think?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah.
I think it was great to get the win at home. I
Mm.
think it was important. It was a weird day because there was all this conference standings and seedings, situations going on. And so, going into the day, there were teams that were fighting at the top, not the top, but for the 2 and 3 seed, UAB was locked in. Then you had this big jumble, and even in the back end, in the bottom 8, 9, 10 seeds, it was what was going to happen, how was the day going to play out. And so kind of a interesting day because ECU, based on the way things fell, they needed to win right against UAB. And for a lot of this game, they were winning
Mhm.
against UAB. And they also needed Memphis to lose. And the Memphis and Tulane game was back and forth. And Memphis looked like they had take that
Yeah.
final lead there at the end of the second half. And then Tulane went in a big run. They took the early lead in overtime. I was looking at both games, wondering what was going on. And then Memphis squeaked it out. And so East Carolina for really almost the entirety of this game, despite it starting an hour later, were unaware and everything was still in the air. They were winning and Tulane was winning. And so kind of a situation where one could argue, for UAB on the flip side, what would be the motivation? But I know that the coaching staff and people have, discussed this after the game, just how critical it was. Darian, you just mentioned to get that monkey off your back, and for fans too, shout out to everyone that went to the game yesterday. I was not there. But for those of you that went, John was in attendance, by the way. So
Yes.
our guy John was there, but AK talked about it after the game, which I thought was really nice. Just thanking the fans that have continued to go. Even on that Sunday game in which I was at, where they had the 11 o'clock tip, it wasn't a bad crowd. And they've had some good, kids promotions on Sundays, and they're staying after the game, shooting free throws. And it's always great when the kids are in attendance and having fun. So, the crowds they haven't been great. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh, look at these 6 and 7 thousand,
Mm.
capacity crowd. That's not happening. But the people have continued to come, and that's more than what you could say for some other fan bases, even in our own league. If you're at the point going into yesterday, what were we 1-7 at home,
Mhm.
and just a losing record overall for the season. So it was good just for the fans to have some excitement going into Friday, for the team to have some momentum going into Friday. And so it's really just to me, we can talk about the game as much as we want, but it was just good vibes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if y'all are wondering, my daughter asked, "Do I want to?" Do I want to be a cowboy? And I was thinking to myself, like, I've never been a cowboy. Like, sure, like that sounds interesting to me, you know. So, right now I am a cowboy. Okay, yeah, we got the bracket. So it's just it might be a little sassy cowboy, but I'm a cowboy nonetheless right now.
Mhm.
So, but but yeah, so we're looking at the bracket. Appreciate you, John, for putting that up there.
Mhm.
But I had to get that explanation off. But like Jimmy said, good vibes going into it. I was wondering how they were gonna approach the game, how we were gonna approach the game, because it was like the news came out, hey, we're locked into the 4 seed.
Mhm.
So I remember us talking in the group chat, and I remember us thinking, like, I mean, in certain scenarios, do you rest players, right? Like,
Mhm.
or do you give players more burn? You know, Lindsey Martin this is game. KLM. I probably would have been like, hey man, we're gonna try to give you 37 minutes. You know, like,
Mhm.
you getting back in the groove, especially if somebody, Salim London, all those type of guys. Like, hey, we're gonna Quan McPherson, Ari Gooch, like those guys, like, hey, I want to get you some guys more burn. Let's rest the Evan Chapmans and the Westries of the world, right? But go ahead.
Ari Goots didn't play Sunday.
Yeah.
No, he didn't play at all.
No.
So that lets you know that we were going for the game, and I was hoping that we was gonna take that approach. It was a no pressure, but kind of still pressure game because we needed to get that home win because that just makes me feel better. I know legacy isn't, Bartow, but at the same time, it's kind of like we're in Birmingham, guys.
Yeah.
Can we show that we can win when Bad Bunny's not performing for a Super Bowl? Like but it was cool to like get that win to kind of, I don't know, I was kind of thinking like, oh man, don't tell me we're gonna drop this one, even though it was a weird, it's kind of how the season has been, or kind of how I feel about the team. It's kind of just been weird. So that game was
Mhm.
kind of weird. It's like I do want to win this game, but it's
Yeah.
like we don't have to, but I still want to. We locked
Mhm.
in. We got to buy. It was very important. That's what we were shooting for. Shout out to that accomplishment. Another 20-win season in the weirdest year.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this team is not even far off record wise from what the team was last year. Um, that's amazing in itself. And then also, as we're gonna get ready to go into the bracket talk, also just the fact that the level that Chance Westry is playing, that he's a guy that you can get the ball, you put the ball in his hands, you can always feel like something good can happen from that. I like how AK was talking afterwards, and he was talking about a lot of times you can just get the ball to Chance up top, set a ball screen, get him downhill, and he's such a good facilitator. He plays off 2 feet. He can seem like he's stuck sometime, and then it's like a good head fake, but he's so big and strong. He can draw fouls. He can finish through contact, and he has great vision and feel, you know. And he seems like that's 2 games back to back with 10 plus assists, I think.
Darian, how do you like the last 2 games? You touched on it. 42 combined points, 12 rebounds, 22 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, and 3 turnovers. How do you like that?
22 assists to 3 turnovers is insane. This is a 6'6" wing. Nobody was talking about him as a point guard. If one of one of my most favorite things I like about AK is you go into a season thinking a player is this, and I would take a shot right here, but I'm not. I was going to take a shot at Trent, but not. It is revealed that a player is that, right? We just went through that with Yax. I remember Yax came in as this rebounding, high, like athletic type of guy, just high energy. And he turns out he's this do it all, maybe player of the year facilitator type of guy, like just can do everything. Now to see Chance just bloom, we thought he was like a wing slasher type of guy. I remember I kept on thinking about how Jimmy got a message from his friend, John. You remember that? And Jimmy was
Mhm.
telling us, he was like, man, my boy said down at Auburn, said, Chance Westry was really one of them ones. Like he's
Mhm.
good. He just could not stay healthy. He's like, if y'all get a healthy Chance Wistry, he's gonna be good. And boy, has that proven to be true. Shout out to your friend. Shout out to your friend in this scouting report because he's just flourishing at the right time. You know, he's peaking, and that gives me so much confidence going into the tournament.
Yeah, speaking of the tournament, as John and Darren have stated, we've got it pulled up here on the screen for those of you that are tuning in on YouTube. We really appreciate y'all's support. We're now going to enter the Big Jim Corner segment where we talk about subscribership. No, but we got 507 subs. We've been sitting on 507 for a little while, guys. 507 is great. We exceeded 500 a little while back. So we're doing great on subscriptions, but we want to pump out some basketball content. So we don't get as much movement and traction on basketball, but I think we do typically this time of the year. Obviously, it's March Madness, one of the best, events over the course of the year. But do us a favor, let's get some people excited, talking about the tournament and get some engagement. So like this video, subscribe if you like to talk about UAB basketball, and of course, we're always hitting up UAB football too.
But real quick before you even go into that, let me make a point on this real quick. People love this show because we talk about what we love, like the numbers and the subscriptions and the views. All of that stuff is good, man. We was doing this stuff for the love of the game, for the love of UAB. We love talking about UAB basketball, so we hope that y'all love it too. But we are going to talk about UAB basketball, whether it's 3 viewers or not. So, hey, here we are.
There'll always be at least 4 because Big Jim is going to be watching this. He's gonna be, I hopped in his truck. He picked me up the other night, and he's Darian's voice is on the radio. He's re-listening to a recent episode, and I'm just like, you're talking about the new DC Grantham and all this stuff, and I'm like, I feel like Darian's just in the back of the truck with us. Where's all the car ride? So.
Big Jim is a sicko.
He's a sicko. I got to tell y'all, we're way off the rails, but Big Jim's wearing a shirt, talking to people at T-Mobile. He's switching internet services, and he's like calling me. I got you 2 new subscribers or whatever. And then I get a text message from one of our guys that we all know who listens to the show. And I'm at the gym, and he texts me. He's like, "Hey man, did your dad go into T-Mobile today?" And it happened to be like that. Somebody started listening to our show. It was like his sister-in-law or something that worked at T-Mobile.
Oh my God.
It was just like this whole thing. So Big Jim goes around. If you see him at the local Olive Garden or T-Mobile, he'll be wearing the BVP dad shirt. So, but we throwing ourselves 30 minutes on this episode. We got to talk about the tournament. So, okay. So looking at the bracket here, what's just kind of y'all's early thoughts on UAB's draw here? UAB is obviously going to play these times here on the screen are Eastern time. So you're looking at this and it says UAB on, I think that's March 13th, Friday. It says 1 p.m. It's actually 12 p.m. local time.
Yes.
So, you guys tuning in or coming to the game. 12 p.m. Friday the 13th, Legacy Arena. UAB is going to play one of either Tulane, Memphis, or Charlotte. If they were to win, they're going to have to play the number 1 seed on Saturday in the semifinals. So anyways, just what's your early thoughts, Darian, on just the draw? Because sometimes it's, not about, I guess necessarily it is a lot about how you're playing at this time of the year, but also you need a little bit of luck. You need to make sure, who you match up well against, who you're familiar with. So how do you just like the overall draw for UAB?
And I know I may be in the minority. I'm cool with this, but I love the bracket that we're in. I love our draw. Honestly, I think the teams that are more so dangerous for UAB are in the other bracket. I love how Wichita State plays. I love how Tulsa plays. Like FAU has this weird thing with us that I just did not want to face them for whatever reason. I didn't want to face them early. North Texas, we saw what they could do, and we saw that. I'm kind of scared. I think we're more talented than they are, but they fight. They'll fight you to the last whistle. And I'm honestly going blank on Temple, but I know they're good this year. Yeah. But I was just like, I would rather have this. I don't know, man. I feel comfortable, weirdly comfortable with us if we get to USF. I'm not a Memphis believer, dog. Like, I've watched it. I don't care about what they've done to us in the past, whatever. I watched this team. This team is not good. This team is not good this year. Memphis is usually good. This year, they are not good. I'm cool with if we face them. Charlotte is a decent team, but I think we match up with them pretty well. And Tulane has had their struggles. I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to say that I would rather face Memphis, but low key, like,
yeah,
they're not. They don't scare me. They don't scare me. Like, I remember like just talking to Jimmy, and he was like, "Man, just facing Memphis, like kind of that feeling. I used to have that feeling too, but this year I'm just like, okay, like like we can face Memphis, but I like our draw. I think we will ultimately end up playing Charlotte. I think that'll be a good matchup. I think that'll be a good game. I think we should win that one, and I know South Florida would be favored against us, but I do not. I don't fear them. I
Yeah.
don't. I think we can beat anybody, and I think it'll be down us. I think it'll be the top 4 seeds. That's what I think.
Especially beating them on the road.
Yeah, South
Correctly.
Florida.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was one of the. I think Hugh McPherson had his first start in that game, and he had a big game. We've seen him come in stretches the last 2 games and really give UAB a spark offensively. He's a shot maker. He's a vet. He appears to be a good leader, but he had a great game against South Florida. South Florida's playing well right now. Obviously, they're right there in that kind of bubble team. They probably still wouldn't get in even if they got the championship, but like they've got
Well,
themselves in
I
a
think that's some
position.
BS. I
I
think
know
that's
they're
BS.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've won like whatever it is. I'm gonna mess it up now, but 12 out of 13 or something like that. They're on fire. Highly talented team. They had a lot of roster turnover as well, but the difference is some of the guys they brought in played together last year, but just at a different school. It's not like guys that have never played together, right? They came from Arkansas State. But yeah, y'all know me. We talked probably last year. I'm the guy that fears Memphis still. So I would have liked to see Memphis, on the other side of the bracket. And here's my argument though, like just for the sake of argument, is I don't fear Memphis like in their present form. What I fear is like you think about like if as they go and they progress, like if we were to face Memphis, it means that this Memphis squad has won 3 games in a row and they'd have some momentum and
Mm.
they played in Legacy 2 nights in a row. And there is that weird, history where it's been tough to beat them. And, people like me, they're probably in my head a little bit. It's 12 o'clock tip on a Friday. Just don't love it. And then not to mention, I don't even know, I didn't see him out there against Tulane yesterday. I only watched the end. But you got the dude that scored 40 on us, So, anyways, that's my argument. Like just any game, I don't fear them as much. I still do, but I'm just like picturing like if they were to catch some momentum and start to feel good, they still are a $5 million roster with their backs against the ropes, realizing that just like UAB this year, they'd have to win it all to get in. So that's the argument for Memphis, but screw them. Hopefully they lose on Wednesday night and we don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry about them anyways. Let me ask you guys, another question. You've already touched base on the road home situation. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Darian. But that was going to be a question I have for you guys is like, does this technically count as a home game because we're not far from home? And I was even looking at tickets. Me and John will be in section 127 on Friday. We'll be there with Brad, our buddy Brad. My big Jim be up in the ADA seating in that section. So if you want to come say hi in 127, please do. But I was looking at the seating chart, and over by 127 is near the home bench, the whatever. And so I'm assuming UAB being the higher seed on Friday, whomever they play, will be sitting there. I hope so. That's where I bought the tickets. But does AK call in a favor and says, "Hey, we're gonna go sit on the visitor side where the visitors' jerseys." He's joked about how the team stayed in the hotel prior to the North Texas game. That didn't necessarily work out, but like, do y'all think that it's all mental with Bartow Arena at this point, and that Legacy will just have a different feel, and it's not of the equation? Or do you think there's something else about the way this team actually, whether they bus or fly to another state or city, that like is just they're more comfortable with? So Darren, kind of, do you fear playing in Birmingham more than you fear Memphis as a team?
I do, but I would say this: I fear playing in Bartow
Yeah.
more than I fear. This is a neutral site game,
Right.
guys. We are undefeated this year in neutral site games,
Hmm.
so I am cool with it. It was just at Bartow in which we got that Bartow monkey off our back
Yeah.
with this last win. So um as far as like speaking to maybe could it be something mentally? Man, I don't know. I remember playing. I was always a guy, and maybe that's just me. I could play anywhere. It didn't really matter to me. Uh, it was some cool experiences I had, playing in some big time games. I it was all a game to me. It was just like, where do you play? It's like, I don't care if I play an Xbox at my house or your house. We're gonna play
Yeah.
the Xbox. So that's kind of how I was. So,
Yeah.
but I can't speak to the mentality of somebody else. I don't know what'll make you feel nervous or I don't get it. I honestly don't. It's like, it didn't make any difference for me. But yeah, and I guess some people do have a home field, a home arena advantage. I mean, like a Duke or North Carolina or something, like those type of teams. But I mean, I didn't.
You know what? You
Can't
know
speak
what? The whole home, versus road split, what it served this year was we didn't have a player used to work at Walmart story for the ESPN Plus broadcast. So they had to have just something to talk about at every
Yes.
single broadcast. So it's like last year it was, so and so worked at Walmart and then they grew 6 inches in the 12th grade and then here they are. This
Mhm.
year it's this team is 1-7 or 2-7 at home and
last
undefeated.
year. Last year was like Yaks putting up 50, 20, and 20 in a game, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Look at Christian Coleman straight from
Yeah.
Walmart with the
Y'all know you
layup."
work for Walmart? Okay, so let me ask you guys this. I did see in the broadcast yesterday and some photos. It looked like Ahmad Robinson, who's been out here for a few weeks. I think he got injured in the Temple game. He still looked like he had like a hard cast. Somebody asked Steve Irvine on X today. I forgot whom. Apologies, but Steve had responded and said something on the lines of, "I think there was maybe like another follow up today or tomorrow to see how he's progressing." I was really hoping to see if he were to be ready for Friday, him to get some minutes. You were mentioning earlier, Darren, about maybe the potential to kind of get some guys in there. That would have been cool to like see him just play 20 minutes and just get out there and get some run and see how he's going to do with the hand injury. But do y'all we obviously don't know, none of us know. But if he were to return, how do y'all think that would kind of impact the rotation like at all? Have y'all even thought about, Robinson? It's been, like I said, a few weeks. I'll just say I'd like to, just for him being a senior, his last year or whatever, like I hope that he does get the opportunity. But it would make me a little nervous because you're bringing somebody back like that hasn't played in a while. And I know he's, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I would have loved to see him play at least some, like on Sunday if he could. It'd be a change, but he did play most of the season. So did y'all have any thoughts on just Darian on Robinson? Because he is, I think, or he was going into this last game like our leading like 3 point shot maker in terms of like 3 point makes. So it would be good just to have him out there. And plus, you got to think about if UAB is to make a run, 3 games in 3 days, you're going to have guys get foul trouble. You're going to face different types of players in different situations. He is someone that can create a shot and can hit threes. So it would be at least advantageous to have him back. What do you think?
Yeah, especially he was a starter, so we're talking about the evolution of the team, and he was the initial playmaker, play starter. He was the initial engine. It's funny if you think about it, the season in its totality, because Chance was starting, then got moved to the bench. Like it's
Mhm.
kind of wild to even think about that now. It's like, dang, we had Chance Wistry on the bench, like coming up trying to find himself. And I still remember the reporter Ahmad Robinson kind of reporting and giving her like scouting report on the team, and they were thinking that Ahmad Robinson could be a jelly
Yeah.
type of guy.
Mhm.
So all that to say is I would be somewhat nervous because he's been out for so long. But if he can show in practice that he's fine, because I mean I trust practice, and if you run him through the gauntlet and he's fine, he would be a huge plus off the bench. I think we've got that starting lineup kind of set. But what we have found out is like when Chance Worcester takes a break, it's hard to find any creation.
Yep.
And so,
Mhm.
and Jacob Meyer can kind of do it, but what I've really found out is like with him, if you put a lengthy, bigger defender on him, he struggles sometimes. Like he's just a little too small,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have that bag work like Jelly did to kind of. He's a downhill type of player now. He can pull up for his midi, and he can hit open threes. But you know how Jelly could come off screens, pop one, bam. Ahmad is kind of different. Ahmad is smaller, but he is more of a point guard that can shoot, that can score. He can be an initiator. Like Salim London is not there yet as an initiator. I love a lot. I love Salim's rebounding. I love his defense.
Yeah.
Like he's a big guard. He rebounds and he's cerebral. He doesn't put you in trouble. So what I would like that would give us a solid nine. I mean, a solid 9-man rotation if Ahmad Robinson was healthy with KLM, Quan McPherson, and Salim London off the bench. I would keep, Dejon Anderson. Even if Dejon Anderson is not hitting threes, his gravity is still there.
Right.
Right. Like he serves a purpose and he's pretty good on defense whenever he's in position sometimes.
Yeah.
Only thing that drives me crazy about him sometimes he gamble on those skills. I'm like, dude, you're getting out of position and you're killing the integrity of the defense. Just play solid defense. He's a big body. Like we got some good defenders. I see what y'all said earlier when y'all said y'all thought AK thought we could have some guys that could stay in front of the ball. Well, when they're locked in and everything, I'm like, we do have guys that can stay in front of the ball. Like this is a good perimeter defensive team. Sometimes they just fall asleep. He talked about Chance Westry doing that. Rivera can do that. I love his versatility as well, but sometimes he can fall asleep. I'm like, dude, if we just don't fall asleep, we have great athletes. Evan Chapman is a good athlete. We have athletes all around. That's why I think we have a chance to win it all. Again, UAB is a team that can lose to anybody because all of a sudden we shoot 9%, and I'm not even. We can shoot 9% from the 3-point line. All of a sudden we can go 21 of 36 from the free throw line, right? I'm like, dude, we can't make a shot. We can't take advantage of open 3-point looks. We can't. All of a sudden, that's how UAB will lose if we don't hit the open ones. I'm not even saying like creating some. We need to hit our open ones, right? That's why I think Ahmad Robinson would be helpful, a healthy Ahmad Robinson. I don't want him to get out there and start trying to force it, turning the ball over. It's kind of like, if we have to, we can play Chance Westry the whole damn game to create a shot. But hopefully Jacob Meyer, I can't think of any other creator. I like Dejon Anderson can create, but he can create for himself. He's not really a facilitator.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think we have the best facilitator in the league, but I think he's our only facilitator.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like take this and you don't get that, but I'll take that. And if we can get Robinson and he can give us 5 assists, I think we cooking because that means guys are hitting shots as well.
Let the band play if he's able to.
Yeah, agree.
To keep it simple.
So you hit on this, Terry, and if you have anything to expand, let me know. But ultimately, I was gonna kind of talk a little bit about predictions as we start to kind of close this episode out. And one of the things I wrote down on here was if UAB wins the tournament, who is tournament MVP?
Chance Westry.
If UAB is lifting that trophy up Sunday afternoon, right before Selection Sunday show, who's named tournament MVP? You think? I think Chance Westry it would be the betting favorite.
Chance Westry is always going to be, but if we're talking about X factors, I have two. I think guys that can put up the numbers.
Yeah.
If Evan Chapman 3-ball is falling, Evan Chapman is tough.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to go 1 after 10.
Yeah, but if that's why I said if it's falling, he's a monster. And my dark horse, because he was kind of starting the ball again, was KLM.
Yeah, man, he really is looking good here. Like that's a good answer. something that we've already talked about him, but because of the volume, I think AK, I thought said something along the lines of like he's like taking the most shots, even though he's missed 2 or 3 games in conference, is Jacob Meyer. He went 4 or 5 from 3, and like he's just the kind of guy that whether it was in high school or what he did at Coastal Carolina or for 3/4 of the season at DePaul, yeah, he's slowed down a little bit, here towards the end of the season. But he's just someone I could envision the way that he can get up and down in the fast break, and he's just got the ball in his hands a lot, like so he can get, he'll rebound pretty good,
I
for a
love
guard
his
at
rebounding.
times. And
Yeah.
then, he will, get to the line. He's got to make them. He missed a few yesterday. But if he can get you 3 or 4 threes in these games and he can put up 15 plus and get to the line a few times and like, just make things happen in the fast break, like I could see him ultimately being someone, but it's so feast or famine. Like I can see both. I could see us a 1 game exit and a 2 for 11 shooting performance, or I could see someone help carry in addition to because I think Chance Westry's stirring the drink. Like he's the guy that's going to really determine, in my opinion, UAB success. But I could see someone like Jacob Meyer coming out and lifting that trophy up, tournament MVP. Who's just for fun? Who's someone that you could see outside of UAB being a dark horse in this tournament? And by dark horse, I would qualify it as a team that is either playing on Wednesday or Thursday night. So I'll give you all a moment to think about it. I'm gonna stick with the Memphis thing just because I want to jinx them anyways. I think Memphis could be good, but they could also Wednesday night be heading out. Tulane could give it to them on Wednesday night. And they could certainly lose to Charlotte, and hopefully, if they were to advance, lose to us. But I think about those teams, like whether it be Temple, FAU, North Texas, Charlotte, Tulane, Memphis. Who's another team that y'all could see if UAB were to fall could win this whole thing?
Um, West Enos.
Oh, you're talking about South Florida?
Yes.
What about one
Uh,
of those teams on Wednesday or Thursday
give
night?
give
Oh,
me
um,
give me FAU.
I could see that.
yes.
Carlisle.
That's yeah, well coached. I can see
Yep.
FAU. I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. I think we are probably 30 minutes in. Did y'all have any other, thoughts or stuff you want to talk about tournament wise?
I think I think UAB is hitting a good stride with where we at. I like our 3-man big rotation with Rivera, Chapman, and KLM. I think those three look good. I don't really have any qualms there. I do love the evolution of Rivera.
Yeah.
Rivera is
Mm-hmm.
not playing as like a straight up big. He plays this pseudo kind of push the ball up. I love how AK gives kids confidence to play
Mhm.
more into their strengths.
Yeah.
Um, so I like that. I think the swing factor guys are going to be the other guards besides Chance Westry. It's going to be
McPherson comes to mind too. Like he
Yes.
could have a
yes,
big game. Yeah.
the McPherson, Dejon Anderson, Jacob Meyer, and maybe Ahmad Robinson. If those guys, that's gonna we know what Chance is gonna bring. But if I'm a team, I'm gonna zone and I'm gonna stop Chance from penetrating. And I'm gonna say, hey, another guard is gonna beat me. I'm not gonna let Daniel Rivera dunk all day. I'm not gonna let Evan Chapman get into a flow. I can just put a body on KLM, put big bodies on him. I'm not gonna let my bigs beat me by dunking, and I'm not gonna let Chance beat me by getting to the line and getting in the middle of the defense and dishing it off. The other guys, I'm gonna make you kick it out. Jacob Meyer, you're gonna have to hit 3 or 4 threes. Salem London, you don't really score. I'm gonna make you score. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make you
Mm-hmm.
score. Not make decisions. I'm gonna make you score. He's a good decision maker. Is he a scorer? I'm not really sure. Dejon Anderson, can you hit? Are you really a 3-point shooter? Like I'm gonna make those guys, and if you're not, we're gonna make you put it. If you are, we're gonna make you put it on the floor, hit some mid range. I'm gonna make those guys, Quan McPherson. You guys are gonna have to beat me, and I would if I was another team, that's what I would do. And
If we have somebody like former UAB Blazer Tyron Moore hit 20 total threes in a 3 game stretch, we're
Oh,
winning this dang thing. It
yeah.
could
oh man, easy.
you brought up the best point in my opinion is you made me think about the bigs and the consistency that we've gotten from them when healthy all season. And we've talked about Westery and the evolution and how he's stirring that and he's getting them those looks, down low, putting them in the right position. But you're so right. It's going to come down to one of the McPherson, Meyer, Anderson, and it may be all three on 3 different days, but it has to
Correct.
be one, right? It has
Correct.
to be at least one of them every single game. We feel pretty good about what else we're going to get. Last question I thought about was what would you consider a successful outcome? Like some people are going to say championship or bust in this tournament. The reality is that AK has been at UAB for 5 tournaments. In year one, he made the semifinals. And then every year since then, he's made the finals, 2 of which he's won. And so for me, I think if he gets to Saturday and plays USF tough, USF tough, I think that's pretty good because you would fall to the number 1 team, a very good South Florida team.
Mm-hmm.
You got one. You gave probably a good environment on Saturday, close game, 13 new players, the ups and downs of the season. I know it's not what people want to hear, but I think that with this team, this roster, this situation, um, I would consider that probably a success as long as we don't lose by double digits on Saturday. What do you guys think? What would be success? Obviously, outside of a championship, obvious, everybody. What would you guys say to that?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. That's actually what I was gonna say. Just playing USF tough. Just really balling out for the crowd that's there in
Right.
attendance. I
Mm-hmm.
may be there in attendance for that one. We're gonna see, but just balling out for the crowd that's there, representing Birmingham in a way that we all can be proud. Like that's all I want to see because early in the season, losing to Alabama State, we didn't think we were going to be here with this record going undefeated on the road, right? So like a lot of times it's cool to reflect back on the journey to see
Mm-hmm.
where we were at, so we can put this thing into perspective. And so I think this season is successful already, but I do think we need to win that quarterfinal game, get to the semis, and then see where it go from there. Again, this is a team that I believe can win it all. Can big can is doing a lot of lifting in that sentence, but
Mm-hmm.
can I
Yep.
guess technically all teams can win it all, but the guys I'm telling you, Memphis ain't winning it all this year. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Please no. Hey, for those of you that are listening, section 127, that's where you can find
Yes.
the star, John
Woo.
Duncan. He will be in attendance signing BVP t-shirts. So y'all show up. No, but
Hey, AK, sign my freaking card.
let's go. Let's go. All right, y'all ready to
Oh,
close this thing out? John, you want to close out? Who do you want to close out?
uh, go Blazers.
Go
Uh,
Blazers.